Okay. So, uh, can anybody tell me why we? So it is very similar. The language that we are going to talk about, Verilog, it's pretty similar to uh, a high-level language like C. But can anybody does anybody have any idea why we might want to use uh, not use C, okay, or any other high-level language to describe our digital circuits? Any idea, Praful?
Yes, sir.
Anything?
Sir, I didn't get the question. Can you repeat, please?
The question is why might we not be able to use or why might not it be optimal for us to use a language like C to implement or simulate hardware digital circuits?
Sorry, sir, I don't have idea about it.
If you look at a digital circuit, okay, what is happening? Let us say we have something like this, okay, A, B, C, and D, okay. If you were to write a code that does this, what would you do? Let us say, as far as mathematics is concerned, okay, let us think of it mathematically. What would you do if you were to write a code about this particular circuit in whatever language you know, Java or Python or whatever you want to use, or a
We can
pseudo code?
use
What will it look like?
bitwise OR and bitwise AND operator
Okay.
that comes in.
Okay, let us say that this is multiplication, okay, because multiplication is the same, isn't it? Okay. You have read those bitwise operations in your language, Java? Have you done that?
Sir, I have done C++,
Yes, sir.
so
I have also done C++. plus plus.
in that I have read.
No, not you specifically, but as a class, did you guys do that in any assignment?
No,
Sir,
sir.
Okay. Anyway, so what is the symbol for bitwise operation? Bitwise or AND gate? Double AND or a single AND?
Single.
single.
Okay. So let us say you will assign a new variable. Let us call that as E, and let us call this as F. Okay, you will assign a new variable which will do this. Okay, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the second thing you are going to do is that you will do C and D. Okay, both of these are bitwise or AND gates. Okay, और के लिए क्या होता है?
Vertical line.
What?
Yes.
Vertical line,
Single.
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 Single vertical line.
Okay, so finally you are going to do what? Let us call this as G. Okay, G is going to be E or F. Okay, do you see any problem in doing it this way compared to what is happening in real life? प्रफुल्ल, अब बताओ, कुछ कुछ कमी दिख रही है इसमें? Whoever is Masoom Bacha, please stop writing in the message box. It is very distracting. Okay, either if you want to ask question, please ask question directly in class or use your real name. Maybe then I'll answer your questions. But from now on, please I request you, do not disturb the YouTube because it is distracting for me. Please, I request you not to do it anymore. Okay, please stop writing on the message box. Thank you. Who is there? Praful, कुछ दिख रहा है इसमें? Yeah, can you tell me how is it going to be executed if I write it in this form? What will happen? What will be the series of execution of these steps?
First E would be calculated.
First E would be calculated, then F would be
Then
calculated,
F.
then G would be calculated.
Yes sir.
Okay, but in reality, what is happening?
अच्छा ओके
E
सर
and
मतलब
F is
एक भी सर
calculated
1 आ जाए
simultaneously.
सर अगर एक भी 1 आ जाए तो वो G ऑटोमेटिकली 1 हो जाएगा तो हमें F कैलकुलेट करने की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है तो
No, that is
शायद
not the
So-
point. But that is a specific example here. But in
So-
reality, yeah, who is it?
So, yes sir.
कौन है कौन है ये? नाम
Sir
बताओ यार.
Aditya.
आदित्य, या आदित्य.
So in real life sir वो operations parallelly साथ में हो रहे होते हैं
Yeah.
E और F.
So
और
these two
इसमें
are
नहीं हो
happening
पाएगा.
simultaneously. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, we need a different language that would take into account that this is happening. Okay. So that is the biggest difference that you would find in a hardware description language compared to any high-level general purpose programming languages that you might be using like Java or C++ or Python or whatever. Okay, they do not have, or even if they have, it might be very complicated to program that into your language. Okay, into that particular language. So therefore, we use the special purpose built languages for these digital circuits, which are in general called as hardware description languages. Okay, but that is the original intent of these languages. Most of these languages are built in the 1980s. Okay, they started in the 1980s. The first biggest one of them was VHDL. Okay, where V stands for, HDL is the same as what? Hardware description language, but V stood for very high integrated circuit, very high speed integrated circuit. Okay, V stood for very high speed integrated circuit. Okay, that is what V stood for. VHDL was now maybe they are 50-50, or Verilog might be a little bit higher because it is more adopted by the companies. Okay, and it is a little easier to write code in Verilog as compared to VHDL. We'll be using Verilog. Okay, this also has its origins in 1980s. Okay, in the middle of 1980s, this language originated from a small company. Then it was finally bought by different companies, and and after that, it became an open standard. So we'll be using Verilog for our particular course. Okay, and the simulator that I have asked you to download and install, Model Sim, that can do both Verilog and VHDL. Okay, so if you wanted to write a code in VHDL, you could write it in the same software. Okay, so that is the original intent of these languages, was that you already had a digital circuit in mind. Okay, you already designed it on paper or computer or whatever, and you wanted to simulate it. Okay, you wanted to see how it would perform in a without actually building that circuit. Okay, that was the original intent of these languages. Therefore, they were called as hardware description languages. But as things became more and more complex, when the number of transistors is reaching billions in your microprocessors, but in most of the cases which we do designing with these Verilog, or it's maybe thousands or millions of transistors. Okay, now in that case, we do not, in most cases, we do not actually build the whole design in terms of these gates. Okay, instead we might directly go to the HDL. Okay, we have a design in mind and we'll directly implement it in HDL. Okay, so now it is not an official word, but it would be a better descriptor to call these as hardware design languages. Okay, because that is how most of these languages are nowadays used at, not as a description language for a circuit that we already have. Okay, just to simulate it, but to do the initial design as well. Okay, initial design is also done in these languages because it is very complex to do the normal schematic sort of design first. Okay, so instead of doing that way, we first design them in HDL, and then we convert it into a schematic or whatever. Okay, automatically, but the software does that for you. Okay, the software that we are using, Model Sim. Okay, Model Sim does not have that capability of converting it into a physical design. Okay, but the other software that you, if you want to use, you can use that, which is called as Xilinx. क्या नाम है उसका? मैं भूल जाता हूँ उसका नंबर. Vivado. Okay, so if you wanted to use this, you could use this. Okay, Xilinx Vivado. So that is also a free version. I mean, it is free, but it is not really free because they collect all the data that they want from your computer. Okay, so they have a free version called Webpack. So if you want to use that, you can use it. It is much more advanced than ModelSim. Okay, but I will not be providing any support for that. Okay, if you have problems in ModelSim, I might help you, because I also don't know that much about it, but I might be able to help you, but this I am not going to do. Okay, but if you wanted to use it, you can use it because it can do things that ModelSim can do and much more than that. Okay, so if you want to use it, you can use it. I'm warning you, the download size for this is about 20 GB. Okay, and the installation size is upwards of 45-50 GB. Okay, so if you want to use, you can use this one. Okay. So did you get why we might need a different language for compared to a normal high level language? Anybody has a question here? Okay, so what might be a disadvantage of using this kind of design philosophy? Can anybody tell? I mean, rather than doing the whole design ourselves, okay, starting with a description, okay, with using HDL, starting with a design using HDL, and then automated conversion into a circuit. Okay, what might be a disadvantage of that? Anybody? No one? प्रफुल्ल, कोई आइडिया है या किसी और से पूछते हैं? उज्जवल से पूछते हैं भाई. क्वेश्चन समझ में आया?
So it may be difficult to debug a circuit, like कहीं गलती हो रही है because we cannot visually see the circuit. हमारे पास देखने के लिए नहीं होता वो.
No. Once we do the design, our software automatically converts it into a visual layout as well. You can see the schematic, so that's not an issue.
Sir, we do not have control for each step. So like there might be some cases, for example, we did just now, even if we are making 8-bit adder from 2 4-bit adders,
Yeah.
they both of them do not have to be full adders. The first bit may be a half adder circuit, but if we are automating that process, then it needs to also be a full adder. So
Yeah,
like,
means if we are
Some
sure,
places it
if we are
is
sure that we are going to use it as a half adder only, then it might be a reasonable choice to do that. Okay, so that's a good point. Okay, most of the times automation happens looking at the worst case scenario. Okay, that is how automation is usually designed. Okay, so the circuit that it generates may not be the fastest performing circuit. Okay, so that is the biggest issue that you might have. Means a full adder and half adder might not be that a bigger issue. It's a good point, but the biggest point is that it may not be as fast as one you design with your own hands. Okay, using the best possible routing and placement and so on and so forth. Okay, so best possible design. Okay, which may not be possible when you automate that. Okay, so that is the biggest disadvantage you might have in such a design. Okay, but we mitigate those disadvantages by first starting with this. Okay, and then looking at wherever the HDL could not, your compiler could not create a circuit which was the most optimum, manually changing that. Okay, so we mitigate some of those disadvantages by doing that, but the primary disadvantage from a distant point of view, for you looking at, the primary disadvantage is that this may not run as fast as something which you design by hand, okay, manually. Okay. So that is the biggest disadvantage of using a design philosophy like this. Okay. So now
Excuse me, sir.
let us,
Excuse me, sir.
yeah.
सर लाइक इन दिस प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज सर जो हमारा इनपुट है सर वो तो यही मतलब वो ए बी सी डी और उसके बीच में क्या ऑपरेशंस होने वाले वही होगा ना सर जो हमारा इनपुट होगा इसमें
हाँ इनपुट ए बी सी और डी
जो
होगा.
मतलब हम कोड करने तो सर फिर इस सर्किट तो एक ही सर्किट बनेगा ना सर तो मतलब हम ये कैसे कह सकते हैं कि जो इसमें सर्किट बनेगा उसमें टाइम की प्रॉब्लम आ सकती है.
I think you are doing, hold on a minute. Okay. Anyway, some people can't control. So I disabled the live chat on YouTube. So please, now you cannot use it anymore. Okay. This is a simple example. Okay. But if it's a very complex example, okay, there are multiple ways of implementing the same thing. Okay. Please understand that there's not only one way of implementing a design. Okay, there are multiple millions of ways to implement any circuit. Okay, so it's possible that the circuit that you generate by automation may not be as fast as the circuit that you generate by your hands. Okay, by looking at the best possible as far as humanly possible design is concerned. Who was the person asking the question?
Sir,
Akshat?
okay, sir. Sir, Akshat. Sir.
Is that all right or no?
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir.
Okay. So let us look at how a simulator program is laid out. Okay, what are the parts of that program? Okay. So to your simulator, what are the inputs? Inputs क्या होंगे एक simulator में? Obviously your program, okay, that program that you write, okay, and the second is going to be the sequence of inputs. Is that all right? ठीक है? That is the overall things that you provide to your simulator. Okay, these are the, so when I say inputs, I mean what the human being has to provide to the simulator. Okay, he has to provide the HDL program to describe what is going on in your design. Okay, and the second thing is that you have to give the sequence of inputs. Okay, how the inputs are coming.
सर इनपुट्स
Okay,
तो सर
RRI.
हम सेम टाइम पे देते हैं ना सर
हाँ
मतलब इनपुट्स तो सारे हम जो इनिशियल इनपुट्स हम अप्लाई करते हैं
हाँ
किसी भी सर्किट में वो तो सेम टाइम पे ही करते हैं ना जैसे
हाँ,
ए
हाँ।
बी सी डी है सर
हाँ
तो सर फिर सीक्वेंस थोड़ी मैटर करता है
अरे
तो
नहीं
पहले
यार अभी हम इतने दिनों से सीक्वेंशियल सर्किट नहीं कर रहे हैं ये तो हमने एक कॉम्बिनेशन सर्किट बना रखा है सीक्वेंशियल सर्किट में क्या होता है
ओके सर सॉरी
okay and the output from that program okay this is the output from the program what are you going to get as the output from the program obviously you'll get the sequence of outputs okay how the outputs are varying with time okay that is one thing second you'll get so this sequence of outputs may be of two forms okay you usually have some text output okay sometimes you want to write down the value okay of a particular output at a particular time then you can make the simulator give you a text output okay or you can get obviously a text file okay have you used CSV files something like a CSV file have you used that have you ever looked at a CSV file comma separated value
Yes, sir.
okay so one possible way of getting your output might be to write it to a CSV file so you can export it to any program that you want plotting software or anything like that and then you can do plotting as you like okay that is one way another possibility is that you can get a waveform Okay, so your sequence of outputs can be shown as a waveform on the program itself. Okay, where you look at what do I mean by waveform? Something like this, which we have already done. Okay, the timing diagram. Okay, you can, so your output can be in the form of a waveform. Okay, and then finally, a very important part of the output from this simulator is errors and warnings. Okay, errors and warnings. So there are some fail safes already built into your system, into your simulator. Okay, so it will show you that this might, even if it runs, even if it gives you an output. Okay, in some cases it will not give you an output because you have made a syntax error. Okay, in that case it will fail at the initial stage itself before even giving this. Okay, but in some cases it may give you the output, but it will also include some errors or warnings along with it, that your output is maybe taking an unrealistic value or something like that. Okay, which then you might have to look at your design. It may be that the simulator is wrong. Okay, there is a possibility, but most likely it won't be wrong. So you have to look into your design and see what fundamental mistake you have made to take care of these errors. Okay, any questions in this? So this is what the human is going to provide. Okay, this is what the human is going to provide, and this is what the simulator is going to provide back to you. Okay, when I say input and output. Okay, now let us look at how you would go about designing. What are the different steps that you would take in designing your simulator? Okay, so let me. Not designing your simulator. I spoke incorrectly. I am not designing a simulator, but designing a program. Okay, hold on. Yeah. So you will let me erase everything. So you have hierarchy or block diagram. Okay, so the first thing that you are going to do is that you are going to design your in your mind or pen and paper. Okay, you will design the overall structure. Okay, so let us say you require 2 flip-flops, you require 4 adders, something like that. Okay, you require 1 4-bit adder, so on and so forth. You'll come up with the whole hierarchical design of your system. Okay, and Ujjwal, the other Ujjwal. Okay, then once you are ready with that, you are going to put that into code. Okay, you'll code that in Verilog or VHDL, whatever language you're going to use. Okay, and then you will compile it. Okay, what is compilation? What does compilation do? It is going to check for all the syntax errors or some obvious discrepancies that is there. Okay, it is going to check for that and it is going to give you an error. Okay, once you are at this stage, okay, what is the next stage? Most likely, once you compile, what do you think is going to be your most likely next stage? Ujjwal?
Error resolution.
Huh?
Simulation.
What did you say? I could not hear. Dhruv, you said something.
Sir, error resolution.
Error resolution, good. So most likely we are going to go back. Okay, we'll go back to this step. Okay, change whatever we need to change to get rid of the errors that the compiler gave you. Okay, so the next step after this is going to be, once you have gotten rid of all the errors and everything from the compilation step, you're going to do a simulation. Okay, you're going to simulate your give it actual inputs, okay, into your code, okay, and verification. Okay, so what is the difference between simulation and verification? So simulation will give you certain outputs, okay, based on whatever inputs you are. Here, when I say inputs and outputs in this case, okay, when I say inputs and output, I mean actual inputs and outputs, not the inputs and outputs, the overall inputs and outputs of our system. Okay, I'm talking about input A, B, C, or X, Y, Z, whatever. Okay, and output whatever you have your output. Okay, so what would verification be doing? ठीक है, हम वेरीफाई क्या करेंगे? संचित, Chaba, are you there? नहीं. Mayank, Mittal,
Yes, sir.
what would we verify?
Sir, if the outputs given are correct or not.
Yeah, good. So verification usually consists of two steps, okay, two parts. So we'll verify whether it is functionally correct or not. Okay, we'll verify whether the logic that we implemented is being correctly followed or not. Okay, we are getting the correct output or not. Okay, so we have where is it? Yeah, it's called as functional verification. Okay, so functional verification, whether your circuit operates correctly or not, that is the most important thing. Okay, the second will be timing verification. What is timing verification? Any idea? I know you don't know it, but maybe guess something. What might be timing verification?
जिस टाइम पीरियड में हम चाहते हैं कि हमारा टास्क एग्जीक्यूट हो जाए उस टाइम लिमिट में हो रहा है या एक्सीड कर रहा है.
Yeah, so everything has its own speed. Okay, whether the components that you have used, are they able to handle that speed or not? Okay, that is the most that is what primarily timing verification is. Okay, so for example, if your input changes, let us say after every 10 nanoseconds. Okay, let us say your input changes after every 10 nanoseconds, and the clock to Q delay of your flip flop that you're using is, let us say, 15 nanoseconds. Then what is going to happen?
तो मतलब गलत आउटपुट रीड
हाँ, गलत output आएगा. Okay, so that is what I mean by timing verification. Okay, we want to verify that the speed at which we want our circuit to operate, is our circuit operating correctly at that particular speed or not. Okay, so that is verification. What would most likely next step going to be? क्या होगा? What do you think is the most likely next step? If anybody has done any kind of coding. Vishnu Sai, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, what do you think is going to be our next step? When you write a code, once you run it, what do you see?
Is it passed or failed?
So then what happens? Most likely, what are you going to do when you write your code for the first time and try running it?
We will fail.
Then where do we go back?
We go back to code
Good.
and rewrite it.
Good. So we'll most likely go back here. Okay, back. This wire is already going to coding. Okay, so most likely we are going to go back. Okay, once we go through many of such cycles, we want to be our circuit to be as robust as possible in this particular stage itself. Okay, so this particular design part is called as the front end. Okay, so this is the front end design. Okay, where we are actually just doing everything in software. There is no hardware component to it. Okay, everything is being done in software. Okay, everything is just being done in a means the backend part is also being done in software, but it is much more complicated. Okay, there are it takes much longer. Okay, here, so we'll try to debug as much as possible in this particular cycle itself, in the front end part only. Okay, if we debug it as much as possible in the front end part, our back end part with the next part is obviously going to be the back end. That is also done in software, but that part takes very long, and a lot of manual intervention is required to make changes in that. So therefore, we want our front end design to be as robust as possible. So we'll go through multiple iterations of this this coding, compilation, simulation, verification. There is a possibility that we might need to even go back here if we are failing something. Okay, there is a possibility that we might even need to go back and change our hierarchy or block diagram as well. Okay, but so that is so if once we pass this, once we have passed this particular simulation verification stage, where do we go next? The next stage is synthesis. Okay. What is synthesis? Can anybody guess what it is? Again, this is all done in software itself. Okay, this synthesis is also done in software. This is not a physical synthesis. What do you think might be synthesis?
So according to our code, a circuit will be formed.
Yeah, good. So we convert this code into an actual circuit. Okay, think of it as a conversion from the code into a block diagram. Okay, which contains different components, and not only block diagram, but each block is completely defined. What is it made up of? Okay, for example, we have something called as FPGA. Okay, field programmable gate array, which is used to physically implement digital circuits. Okay, it is programmable, so you can implement any digital circuit that you want depending on the limit of your FPGA. So that is one thing. So FPGA is usually consists of SOPs. Okay, it is usually implemented using SOPs. What is SOP? Sum of products. Okay, so it is the whole system is broken down into multiple sum of products. Okay, so that is what it is. Or second is ASIC. What is ASIC? It is application specific integrated circuit. Okay, IC you might have heard, everyone might have heard IC. Okay, which is integrated circuit. Okay, so this is the application specific integrated circuit. So what is integrated circuit? What is finally made up of? What is an integrated circuit made up of? Any idea? Your Intel processor or AMD processor, what is it made up of finally? What is the smallest block, if you want to call?
Transistors.
Huh?
The transistors.
Transistor. Okay, but most of the times the level of abstraction that we usually do in this particular synthesis is in terms of gates. Okay, so this whole design is broken down. If you are designing for an FPGA, it is broken down into SOP, sum of products. Okay, if you are designing for actual chip fabrication, okay, finally you want a chip which is working independently. Okay, you do not need anything else. Okay, you want a hard chip. Okay, then you design an ASIC. Okay, and ASIC, it is broken down in terms of gates. Okay, or even higher abstraction layers, but the lowest, in most cases, the lowest abstraction layer is a gate. Okay, you may have higher abstraction layers also. So that is what synthesis does. It converts your whole code into these blocks, into your logic gates. Okay, think of it. Forget about this for now. Let us think about it. That it breaks the whole circuit down into gates. Okay. Now, once you are done with synthesis, what is the next step going to be? So you now know all the gates that are required, okay, and what are the interconnections between them. So this is synthesis this will give you all the gates plus your interconnections. Okay, how those gates are connected with each other. Connections. Okay, how those gates are connected to each other. Now what do you need to do next? You have to place them. ठीक है ना? Once you have those gates and all, you have to physically place them at different locations. Do you agree? Or no? कहाँ है हमारे? आज गायब हो गया वो? प्रफुल्ल नहीं, सबसे पहले है. Praful, are you there?
Yes, sir.
I can't
Yes,
hear you.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you agree with that? Next step. Is it a logical step? Once we know how our gates are interconnected with each other, how do we physically place them on our silicon wafer? That is the next step. Do you agree with that or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. So we'll do placement and routing. Okay, what is placement? Placement is the physical location of each of your blocks, each of your gates, and routing is how the wires are physically going from one place to another. Okay, that is routing. Okay, if you know anything about PCB design, what is the time? 59. Okay, I'll just finish it in a couple of minutes. So if you know anything about PCB design, then you know that if you need the wires are connected and you might need multiple layers of dielectric or multiple layers of wires. Okay, so that is placement plus routing, and then finally we'll do the same thing that we did there. Okay, but here we are actually looking at each individual gate, how it is performing and how those wires are introducing some delays. Okay, these wires are also, in this case we could not do that. Okay, we could not, because we did not know how far different components were from each other. Okay, but when we are doing this, when you have already done this, we already know what the location of different components is and how long wires are there between the different components. Okay, so we know, we have much better idea of what kind of delays we can expect. Do you all agree that if you have a longer wire, it will take longer for a signal to reach from one place to another?
Yes, sir.
Dhruv?
Yes, sir.
So because we do not think about it, because the wires are the time scales are very large in our physical experience. Okay, but in case of transistors, nanoseconds is quite small. Okay, so how far does light travel in 1 nanosecond? Any idea? What is the speed of light?
0.3 meters.
Huh?
will travel.
How much?
10 to 10 to the power 8 meter per second.
10 to power 8 meter per second.
Yes, sir.
So in 1 nanosecond, how far will it travel?
0.3 meter.
0.3 meters.
Okay, so 1 nanosecond. So when we are talking about these digital circuits, we are very close to the limit of means we start observing this. Okay, because our transistors are operating in gigahertz, means our circuits are operating in gigahertz range. Okay, so the time scales are of nanoseconds order. Okay, so these when we see light as the speed of light or speed of electricity as being infinite, no longer holds true. Okay, it makes a real impact. So that is the final step. We'll do our final verification. Okay, and most likely your functional verification is going to be fine. Okay, most likely, but if it's not, then you'll have to worry about that. But most important step in this case is going to be timing verification. Okay, and if there is some error, then you need to most likely, if there is some small error, then most likely you'll have to go back and change your placement and routing. Okay, but if there is a big error, then you might even have to there is a possibility that there is some error there, then you might have to go here. Okay, which is very painful, but this is extremely painful that you might have to even go back and change your design completely. Okay, but everything, all of this is done in software, so it is still manageable. Okay, the amount of pain that you have. Okay, we'll if anybody has a question, I'll answer that, otherwise we'll stop for today and I'll continue on Tuesday.
Sir?
Anybody?
Sir?
Yeah.
सर सिंथेसिस के केस में जो स्मॉलेस्ट हमारे पास कॉम्बिनेशन, जैसे अगर हम 5 NAND गेट्स से इंप्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं,
हाँ.
तो सिंथेसिस में वो हमें 5 NAND गेट्स दे देगा. उसके बाद प्लेसमेंट और राउटिंग में हमें सोचना है कि हम उसको कैसे अरेंज करेंगे.
हमें नहीं सोचना, सॉफ्टवेयर कर देता है वो भी. ठीक है, बट हम सॉफ्टवेयर को हेल्प कर देते हैं थोड़ी बहुत कि भाई ये तुमने सही नहीं किया, थोड़ा सा इधर उधर कर दो.
Okay.
ठीक है, we provide more and more constraints. At every stage we add constraints so that software does it better than what it would do otherwise.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. See you on Tuesday. Bye bye.